Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. I know you get sick and tired of watching high-level StarCraft, but I'm home, and you know what I brought. The freshest games from the Korean Starleague here. We've got the Grand Finals. It's Gumiho. I can't say the other name. We can't. Nope. Introduce him if you're going to say his first name. It's Gumiho, who's doing the barracks in the front of the natural and the gas, right? Against, I don't have my pig soundboard, but if I did, it would say dark. It's dark. So little Terran versus Zerg. Flip that overlay, Nate, because Gumiho's on the bottom this time. So 2 racks. Now this build is super standard. Everybody's doing this now. It's like the new hot thing. You build the 2 racks to wall off with your first depot, your natural. This way, you open double Reaper, which not only keeps you safe against cheese, but not only gives you a free win versus like double hatch pool, but most importantly, your natural is just totally safe. You don't really have to worry about anything here. I like that Gumiho puts this depot in this spot, by the way. There are a lot of Zerg players that, even though you have the free parking here, some guys try to send it around the outside, you know, so they can kind of get the scout this way. They expect you to have units up here or a Viking. I don't know. So the Overlord's going to come by for dark. He knows it's probably Reapers because that's what everybody does. So 2 Reapers at a time being made. He is going to try and slip 2 Lings. I don't know what those are going to do. I have no idea. He also has 2 Roaches in production. So, I don't know. I don't really like Roaches against the early Reaper play. I actually feel like last week's KSL, the last KSL cast that I was able to do, I feel like didn't we have something very similar with the Reapers? Was it Future? Future was very good with the Reapers against the Roaches, so it makes me a little bit makes me a little anxious, makes me a little nervous. High-level Terrans don't seem to struggle with this. Usually they can kill all the Roaches if the Zerg player isn't like an Adonis, pretty much. So he's gonna push him to the ramp and play for Vision, but it doesn't work very well because you can get Vision up this ramp with the Watchtower. So that's one reason Gumiho would want to be here. Obviously the Roaches can counterattack, but he's got a big wall. He has a bunker that is going to finish. There are Marines already here, so really it just boils down to the Reapers are going to try to continue to poke and trade. I think he lost one. That's yikers. Okay, well, he doesn't have the map control anymore, so maybe things are worse than I've made them appear to be. Tries to jump into the main base with the Reapers. Queens are going to get, looks like, wow, okay, so he should have got that one. I don't know how he escaped the citizen's arrest. You ever go to Red Lobster and get eaten by the lobsters? That's what just happened to the Reaper. Meanwhile, this is the hard part. If you don't have a factory, Ravagers are so annoying. He has to float his barracks, he loses the depot, and now he will get biled until the end of time. Until Gumiho has enough to just shove out of this. And he's going to go for a Cyclone. I love that. I love the Cyclone over the Siege Tank in this situation. Namely because the Cyclone can at least help you kill this Overlord. The Cyclone can help you... If there's no Ling speed, which we know there isn't, it wasn't a Ling speed based opener, then you're pretty safe to just move the Cyclone out on the map wherever you want, you know? It's not that hard, so... Oh, did he just... Man, Zerg really are cold-blooded. Sorry about that, I just, you know... As a person, I would never do that to my unit. I have never crushed any of my own units with rocks, ever. And I never will. I never will. Certainly not a morphing Ravager. Certainly not. That's disrespectful. Extremely disrespectful. That Ravager, I mean, we don't really know what his life was like. We don't know anything about him. He hadn't even technically been born yet, in a way. Right? I mean, he was a Roach, but then he was an egg. Again, how do you reconcile with that? I'm not sure. I don't think I'm capable of it. Yeah, no mercy at all. then I remember that Dahaka's Zerg units literally kill each other and eat each other. So maybe this is less cruel in a way. Well, it serves no purpose, Nate. Maybe that makes it more cruel. I'm not really sure. I guess if the Ravager egg was tossed into, like, a croissant with, like, bacon and cheese and ham, maybe. Well, bacon is ham, Nathan. You don't need any other type of pork in a meal. That's true. That's very true. Let's double bacon, then. How about that? I don't want another meat on my breakfast sandwich. But I would make it with... I mean, a Ravager egg breakfast sandwich could be good. The McRavager. I'm just saying. Pretty much everybody's doing crazy amounts of collab nonsense every day anyway, so... They're putting Nicki Minaj into Call of Duty. So I don't know why I can't cook a Ravager egg. Gumiho does have a safety Banshee coming out. He got Cloak. We don't usually see these be able to do too much, but it is so rare that Terrans go Banshee versus Zerg these days anymore that I guess it's also not surprising. He had the Overseer, so I guess that's why he skipped the Spore Crawlers, but we don't really see these do too much. I'm amazed that that got away. I'm amazed. You guys can feel my salt pouring through the screen about how every time I build Banshees, I fly into a Spore Crawler and 10 Queens, and I baby rage, and I ask myself, why didn't I just build a Battlecruiser? Well, I ask myself that, whether it works or not, just to be clear. But especially when the other stuff doesn't work. So both Banshees are together. One of them is made of papier-mâché now. I think the best way to use these, you want to just camp them on one of the 4th bases until the creep comes over or Queens push you away. Just deny the 4th. That's the biggest thing that you can do. You're not doing much against the Spore Crawlers. Getting drones, you might get 1 or 2, but you will lose the Banshees. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth your life. If you kill this Roach, now see, that's a nice go between the bases. I like that. I do like that. Papier-mâché Banshee is dead. And are you starting the base? You starting the base? We do have a bio push on the right side. There are no Banelings. It's just Roach Ravager. Gumiho has +1 attack. So his bio is absolutely ripping and tearing into the Zerg. There are some transfuses being used to help keep it together. Oh, the Banshee's coming in here for the Evo chamber now. And he starts the 4th base while being attacked. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Not going to play out too well for him. The siege tank for Gumiho has the tower vision, too, so he's aware. This is where you want, right here, though. That's where you leave the Banshee. And eventually the Queens come over and push it away, but that's okay, because now he could go into the main if he wanted. And he would see that there's a hive morphing, so maybe he wants to go into the main. Maybe he should, but he doesn't know that he should. He is doing a pretty nice attack. That's been very difficult for Dark to stop. His army's kind of getting separated. I think without the Queen Transfuse, he might be able to just focus those Ravagers down. You definitely want to be careful. You definitely want to be careful in that situation. Because going for the hive here off of a Roach Ravager tech is kind of interesting. It's like, where's the follow-up? Look, he's making, this is what I meant. He's making slow Zerglings. He only just got speed at 8.5 minutes. So Dark sees that there are some reinforcements coming to Siege Tank on the Watchtower. He's going to trade through the Roaches. And Dark doesn't try to kite back until his army is nothing but Ravagers. That's where he extracts maximum value out of the Roaches. Now, this high ground position on this base is really annoying. Ravagers try to catch the tank with the bile, but not able to do so. And then the Banshee comes back. Cloak, cloak, cloak! Okay, well, that's okay. Overseer is going to come kill him anyway, right? It's cannon event. Can't be avoided. More biles are going to push the tanks away, and Dark finds some footing here, and he's able to get a good hard shove, pushing Gumiho back. That's not to say that he doesn't still have his problems. He's going into Vipers, he's going into Lurkers, but he doesn't have those things yet. And even though that was a great hold, Gumiho is also on the same number of bases as him. He's completed a 4th, but he's not mining, so it's 2 3-base economies. In fact, Gumiho has 20, not 20, Nate. Not 20, maybe like 14. He's got like 14 more workers than his opponent. There you go. Now you can do the over-exaggerated exasperation. But Gumiho has more workers than the Zerg player, which really should just tell you everything. And if you don't know what that means, it's bad for the Zerg. Unless the Terran is at 200 supply. Then the 81 SCVs is very bad for them. Pushing up onto the third base one more time. Clearing out the Overseer. The lack of creep in this place has made it very, very difficult. But now it's kind of a far jump to try and move towards that central center-left base. He's going to go for one more Ravager target-fired tank. He's trying to get back on the high ground. Keep in mind, he actually can kill the drones. He has the range to hit them if the army doesn't come over, so that is one way to do it. Can he save the tank? No, he gets a... that abduct! That was a... Sorry, that was such a clutch abduct. That was actually pretty sick. He thought he was going to get that. That's like such a... I don't know how to describe it, because I'm usually on the other side. I'm usually the Terran player. That would be salty. But it's actually so impressive to see what would be a sick save get denied like that. That was actually very well done by Dark. I love watching him play. He's a psychopath. Absolute psychopath. He's almost completed the transition into the lurkers as well. Adaptive Talons is almost done. We know the Vipers are still on the map. His army itself is not capable of beating Gumiho's head-to-head. So he has to stall out. He has to use the Corrosive Bile to buy time. And then his plan while that happens is to get into the lurkers, to get enough of them that Gumiho overextends. And then the game is, I think, in Dark's hands. But he does need that to happen first. It's a difficult spot. Wow, the parasitic bomb on the medevacs is always so annoying. Oh, yeah, he's actually really, really working him down there. Most of the medevacs are about half HP. It's going to make them very easy targets down the line. It's hard to get abducts when there's bio in front of the tanks. I think we all recognize that. So if you're not going to abduct the medevacs, because why would you, unless you had Hydras or a lot of queens with your army, you want to just probably parasitic bomb, since that really just leaves the Terran running their medevacs away from the bio. Or they're micro-wing units that are not as important as micro-wing Marines. As far as Gumiho's concerned, though, his fourth base is set up. He's got a planetary. Getting the 5th command center in. And we have a 3-base Zerg. This is like a half base-ish. There's only 4 drones on it, if you don't count the gas. So he's not like really making as much money as he wants. Gumiho's going to scan him and see it too. The Dark at about 70 drones. It's not like his economy's bad. It's just a tough spot because he's been taking so much damage. He doesn't have the ability to throw anything away. His army is very strong, but he doesn't have that normal Zerg comfort blanket of being able to remax or rebuild. If he loses his army, he takes one bad fight, this game is over. I think Gumiho needs to recognize the infestation pit is exposed on this base. He definitely wants to go for that. The rest of the army is still waiting in the bottom left. I'd almost like to see him try a drop, but I think that would be a little bit YOLO if he just parasitic bombs 2 different medevacs and they all die and then he can't get away, and that would be... I think everybody in chat would find that hilarious, though, so... You know. Everybody knows the commenters' opinions are the most important. That is true, though. Like and subscribe if you agree. Missile turret going up at the front. I think you definitely have to consider Burrow Infester because of the infestation pit to some degree, and the lurkers. Like you know, well, really just the lurkers, I guess, detection-wise. You're talking about Burrow Infesters in a game where we haven't seen a single infester, Nathaniel. I know, I got excited when I saw the turret. It could also zone away the Viper, maybe a smidge. A couple Vikings are going to come out. It's a scary attack to engage into, but the ghost count is coming in as well for Gumiho. So without the ability to dive on the ghost to cancel the snipe, you really don't want to get hit by that. So he's just going to chill. He's got a lot of Hydras, got a lot of Ravagers. This is the kind of army that does very well with Parasitic Bomb, very well with Abduct. Just pull stuff into this and kill it. Better yet, send it deep inside your opponent's base. I can't blame him, of course. We've got sensor towers out the wazoo. He's watching the east side. He's watching the west side. I like that his sensor tower here, I have to keep this in mind. If you put it within this range, he can see that there's nothing at the Zelnaga, which is very helpful. Just having that heads up knowledge is great. So he knows, push the northeast. That's the spot that he wants to take. There are a lot of lurkers spread out, though. Dark turned a game that I thought was very close to being over into quite a competitive match. There's not really enough tanks here to zone this away, but I think Dark handles it beautifully. Kill a little bit, pull out. Don't give the ghosts time to come kill you. Oh, is he going to YOLO into this? That would be... yeesh. That is 8 lurkers, bro. Even Marines and Marauders, I don't think, can deal with that. He's going to clear out the tower. But a double drop is headed over to the main base. We did have a little Spore Crawler field arranged, and Dark trying to get the main defense. It's got 5 health. Yeah, it's dead. So I guess the only way that this drop would have been good is if he killed the spawning pool. That's kind of how it seems to me. Getting the Spore Crawlers for a future drop, I don't hate that. But I would have loved to see all these plus 3 Marauders stim and cancel Adrenal Glands. I think that would have been awesome. At the very least, he would have got every single queen to dump all their energy into it. So Gumiho has another sensor tower and a Viking. I think he's conscious of the threat of the Nidus. There is no vision inside of the base for him to do anything with, so he wants to take out the sensor tower because he needs Gumiho to not really be aware of when the Nidus starts in his base. Some cloaked ghosts are going to come over the backside. He actually did get the Overseer. Beautiful pickoff. And the army, oh, it's kind of getting stuck. Is he going to scan? Is he going to scan? There's no detection. There's no detection. He sees everything. Whoa! Good relocation of the Spore Crawler, though. He's able to kill a couple of ghosts on the tail end of that. And he even brings it home. He's like, yeah, that Spore Crawler was a rental. Yeah, sorry, I gotta return it. Yeah, back to my 4th base. Oh yeah, totally. Meanwhile, Lurker hit squad. Whoa, did he what? Did the Lurker just boop over? I've never seen that before. Well, he gets a couple snipes in, gets an EMP on the Vipers. There are a lot of ghosts here, so I think you just scan and let it rip. Should be plenty enough ghosts to just kill everything. There it is. All the Lurkers are dead. There is a big army on the bottom left, though. More Hydras are coming out. And there's still 7 Lurkers on the map, so it's not all the Lurkers, but all of the Lurkers that he attacked with are dead. There are, however, 20 ghosts. There's 20 ghosts, no Banelings, and no Infestors. So I do not know how you deal with the ghosts. There is an army in front of the ghosts to protect them. Oh, ASMR. Terran ASMR right here, boys. Yeah, you don't have to zoom in and out every 2 seconds, Nate. Just leave it like this. We can all see it. There's some units towards the top. He's going to make a lot more. Is he building 14 Lurkers right now? Yeah, 14 Lurkers in production. So he's just saying, I'm going to saturate so many you won't be able to get around the Lurkers. But instead, he gets sniped anyway because ghosts are very good units. He's going to dive him. He's coming in. All the 14 Lurkers showing up on the army. 3 tanks trying to anchor it, but the ghosts are running out of energy. He does land a large number of his snipes, but I don't think he has what he needs to push through back into the Lurkers. Meanwhile, another Lurker attack did hit the bottom right. Dark continuing to bring the pressure once more. And see, that Lurker boops, but that's like a more expected way. Love having the random sharks on the field. These Lurkers try to counterattack, though. They are going to get snipped. The only thing really holding Gumiho back is that he's already spent all of his energy sniping everything, so yeah, you want to get out. You want to get out of there. Dark expanding to the west side and the northeast at the same time. He's just about... God, who's this, 50 health? He's got 50 health on the purple gas base. Meanwhile, purple gas, it's mined out. So he scans up the ramp. I love you, Gumiho, but maybe break the other rocks, maybe get a nuke. I don't think even with ghosts and tanks, even with the power of Christ, I'm not sure you could push through this choke point against 10 Lurkers. I just don't see it. That said, He's cleared out the creep. He's going to continue to push forward, and I guess he's opening things up a little bit more. Another lurker. This guy inched forward a little bit one more time. Just barely out of range of the tanks. That has got to be frustrating. But he's got enough to just scan and kill him again down. So he cleans that up. Dark does have the watchtower. He's got all the vision. Casting this series, this is gonna take my energy for the rest of the day, huh? Turns out this is just the absolute banger matchup of all time. So there is the nuke. I don't know why I doubted you, Gumiho. I'm sorry. I love you. Gets a Spore Crawler. Almost kills 2 Hydras. Kills the very weak hatch. And there it is. Gumiho takes game number 1. Very well done in this series. And wow. That's... Oh, we've got a heck of a matchup. We got a heck of a matchup on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. For those watching live, I am going to just run the ads right now so they don't happen during any of the action in Game 2, because that was a long game. So I will be... We're just going to get into it. We're just going to get into it. Let's go to Game 2. Wow. Absolutely. Whew! Absolutely ridiculous start to this series. Absolutely ridiculous. In the bottom left, we have the blue Terran player. He is Gumiho. He's one of my favorite Korean Terrans. GSL champion, known battlecruiser aficionado. And I've heard that he has a poster of Nathanias in his closet. And I may have a poster of Gumiho in my closet. And they may actually be those secret little mirror guys that you could use to talk to Sirius from the 5th book. But maybe we just pretend. Maybe we just fantasize about that being reality. I don't know. I like to think that when I build battlecruisers, Gumiho knows. Oh yeah, there's another player in this game. His opponent in the top right, the red Zerg player, he is Dark. I've got nothing but good things to say about Dark. That last game... Huge pain in the butt. Huge pain in the butt for him. He went for the roaches. They didn't really get him what he wanted. He went for the lurkers, and his economy was so bad that he was never able to do it in the way that he needed to. That's really what it boils down to. So this time around, we're on Ancient Cistern. Hatch, then pool. No pool first craziness. I think that's part of it, though. When we talk about the weakness of that roach build from the last game, and we talked about how there was no Ling speed, it's just a really difficult position to play from, because you don't have everything that you need. You go with the roaches, you want to deal damage, but the Reapers kind of zone you, they push you away. The barracks had to relocate, sure, but it doesn't seem to be something that bothers some players that are competing on this level, so. Thanks for the sub, Valeriano.
You are a best caster, man.
Thanks, man. I love you. I appreciate it big time. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody online, YouTube, Twitch, etc. What does etc. mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to highlight this segment and put it on TikTok, so I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to say thanks. I appreciate you. This is how I get my casting rocks off nowadays. Gonna boop a drone on his way back into the natural with that Reaper. 2 of them very low. You're not supposed to be able to kill drones with a Reaper. If there's like unwritten rules of competitive StarCraft, you don't ever want to lose that. Actually, you know what I just realized? He faked me out. Guys, he didn't expand behind it. It's 3 racks Reaper. How could I have been so blind? How could I have been fooled? This must be the work of... I don't know. I don't think I have an arch nemesis. Maybe being to events on time? I'm pretty punctual. I don't know. Ah, public bathrooms. There you go. My arch nemesis. I feel like everybody can get behind that. Nobody likes public bathrooms. Unless you're at like a really nice hotel, I guess. I don't know. Casinos usually try to clean up. Great conversation line, Nathan. Really, best thread of the day. Hey, man. You're not wrong. That's true. That's true. You can see we're really reaching for our tangents. 3 Overlords being made at once for Dark. So he's either about to crank out a ton of Lings, or he's in Gold League. I have a feeling he's not in Gold League. It's a Reaper opening, so Lings are typically the answer. He's going to boot up a couple of Queens behind that, and he's just going to drone. Okay. This is kind of what concerned me. Gumiho is making more Reapers than you would typically see from a Terran that does this build. Thus, that Ling count is very, very, very fragile. If he takes one bad fight and the Lings get wiped, 3 Reapers at a time are going to ruin your day. Oh my god. Then he takes double gas with it too. He takes double gas. Tell me you're going into battle cruisers, Gumiho. Tell me. Warg into me right now and share the beautiful gospel that is your strategy with my feeble mind. While these monster aliens rip apart a few innocent boulders. What do those boulders ever do to you? Nothing. That's the answer. They never did anything. So Gumiho has a lot of Reapers. This gives him some semblance of map control. Did 3 at a time. It's like, what is he going to spend his resources on anyway? Probably another starport and fusion core is my guess. Just the way that it's gone so far. No! Reactor? He's just going to get medevacs. He's going to drop the Reapers. What? What in tarnation? Gumiho is going to do a double Reaper drop. This may be among the filthiest things I've ever seen. All I was thinking about was, yeah, going to BCs behind this. Now I'm like, going to BCs after this. Another reactor for the factory, so Hellions. He's gonna get bio. He's gonna play bio. Yeah, he's gonna start stim. Of course. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he start stim? I'll just leave that selected. We'll just leave that highlighted and take a look. The medevacs are headed across with the Reapers. It's a very fast army. It doesn't get more hit and run than that. And stim is on the way. Yeah, we are commentating the grand finals of the KSL, the Korean Starleague Weekly, number 20. Yeah, that attack, you know, it's like one of those things that seems really cool, but you do still need to avoid the queens. I think in a choke point, or as just like a harass squad, like this can be very frustrating, but Reapers in general, they're never, I don't know. They're not that efficient. They're kind of like roaches in the supply sense, even though they're one supply. It's a hard thing to get across, but there are very few strategies that make Reapers look sexy. That's all I'm going to say. And I thought that this build might, but it's not. Cleaning the creep, I like to see that. I think that's pretty straightforward. That's the edge that you get here, and then take a couple shots, pull back. Maybe throw all the grenades on the ground and then pick up. Could like be kind of cool. He did go double Liberator after, so 3 drones in total. Has 1 for this base as well. I think Gumiho is going to continue to just try and be extremely annoying with the Reapers. I do love to see this. This is some sort of dark magic that I've previously been unaware of. The beautiful thing about builds like this is that it does look so much like the standard 2 rags, right? That 2 rags Reaper opening into the third base. There are so many people that love to do that. So. Yeah, I know. Sometimes the song just plays that one really loud part, right? You guys want me to take the game down a little bit more, huh? Tiny little bit more? Or is it just the music and not the game sound? He's going to get this double drop on the bottom side. Clears up that hatchery. Just the music. Yeah. I thought 35% would be a reasonable amount, but I can fix it. Yeah, I never do stuff like this, but I'm going to do this for you, okay? I love you. It reset. I had it at 35, and it went up to 40. All right, let's take it down to 30. There you go. We broke its knees. Let's get back to the game. So Gumiho gets the cancel on the 4th base. He's got his own 3rd going up. And there's mutas here. I love this. Normally, the double drop doesn't really worry as much about the mutas. But in this specific situation, it ends up being a huge pain in the butt. Because obviously, the Lings wouldn't let the Marines unload and shoot anyway. but he absolutely does not have an answer to this. The Mutas, however, are going to get caught by the Marines on the west side. Good denial by Gumiho will allow him to continue to zone away these areas on the east side. And he's building this fourth base somewhere that doesn't have a lot of creep. The weirdest thing about this is that it is, again, all Lings, not as much Banelings. The first few Banes are arriving, but both Widow Mines, wow, they all kind of whiff really hard. He leaves some Marines behind to fight these Overlords. Gets like one of them, two of them are very low. I don't know what happened, but this game just became, it feels like it almost became cursed in a way. There's something very strange about this. Gumiho dropping Marines, trying to do 7,000 APM micro. And Dark's actually gotten supply blocked from this, hilariously enough. He's going to try and drop the Marines, trickle them out on the backside. Moves out another. This is where that Viking at the start of the game, by the way. Dark has all this vision of everything. I feel like we knew how this was going to end. The Medivacs should die. If the Medivacs get home, I'm going to be very, very, very shocked. But I think he's sending them into the opponent's base because he's thinking to himself that Dark will attack him when the Medivacs are gone, which means that he should send the Medivac away from his own base. So sending it into the corner of the map right now, I think that was the correct play. Now the Mutas are as far away as they could really be from his base. We do still have some Widow Mines here being annoying. Looks like he popped that one. His fourth base is finally done. He's got 10 drones on it, though, so... Meanwhile, Gumiho had a total of 69 SCVs, so very nice there. Has the Liberator sieged over his own command center just to make sure that nothing can actually get back over there, so I like that. Oh, what? He had one more mine. How many Mutas have died this game? Only 6. Wow, he could have... Oh my goodness, that was almost really incredible. That was almost amazing. That was almost tremendous. Almost. Every single Muta almost died to those mines. Look at the Ling count, by the way. This is how Dark likes to play. He's a brawler style. 150 Lings, 12 Banes. He's like, look, everybody complains about Banelings, but I found out that you can still just beat Terrans with just Lings if you make enough of them. 138 Lings is a lot. Every Marine has to kill like 5 Lings, basically, without dying to get through that. And they can't be hit by Banes. And they can't die or be hit by the Mutas or the Queens. That's my long explanation for Gumiho in bad spot. It's a big map too, so crossing is never going to be that easy. But I kind of like the forward movement with the sensor tower on this platform. You can kind of go in multiple different directions from here. Somehow this top left corner has just been the hot spot. There's no base here, there's no creep here, there's nothing really here, but the amount of fights that have taken place in this spot are just mind-boggling. So he's going to try and catch that drop. Oh, bring the mines! Cut him off! Bring the mines to the ramp. I thought he was going to go into the corner for him, and I'm like, put the mines right there, lock him in. It is still a lot of stuff, though. So like, he doesn't want to just leave those 3 Medivacs and Marines exposed, but one of them dies, and okay, Banelings are hitting the Marauders. All right. Gumiho turns an otherwise difficult trade into a decent one. Is he going to go in range of the mine, though? The mine? Come on. What was that? Oh, the Bane train hit squad. Okay, he sees that. Wow, good timing, good reaction time. I think he might actually just hit all of this anyway with the Banes, though. Big Daddy Thor. Wait, he burrowed on the Thor? He burrowed into the Thor? What? Yeah, this game is turning into a fever dream. So Gumiho on the approach. He's got the Thor leading the way. He's got the Marauders up front to tank. You love to see it. The Marines are in the back, but they're also kind of covered on that trail of Widow Mines. Looks like Dark wants to go for little base trade action, but with his mass Ling, but it doesn't seem like it's going to work all that well. The Marines come straight home. He does clean up the base with the Marauders and the Thor, but he just sends the Marines back. And I think this maybe could have been where that burrow play comes into fruition. But Gumiho, I think the only hard part is that the Marine count has been culled to the point where maybe the mutas are more annoying again, but the Bane's going for the SCVs. He is going to get them out in the nick of time. Oh yeah, there's the Thor! Oh no, it's in the medevac! It's dead. Okay, well, anyway, there's the burrowed Banes I was talking about. So let's, is that going to be a thing? Maybe. He's going to use the mutas to bait him. Oh, there you go. Gets the rest of the bio. GG, Dark. Absolutely filthy. Absolutely filthy. I hope he takes a shower after this game, because frankly speaking, he's going to need it. So we're tied up 1 apiece. Let's go to game 3. Let's find out what happens. I'm ready. My body is ready. Absolute slugfest. I feel like that map is so big. We always have it just being like these little trades there, because by the time anybody ever gets across, they've always got the setup. Does that make sense? By the time you cross Ancient Cistern, your opponent has time to build something, so it's hard to just kill them. Turns into a lot of those grueling, traded-out style games, which I love. They're great to cast. They're stressful to play, but I'm not playing right now, so I get to have all the fun and just pretend to know what I'm talking about like the rest of you. In the bottom left, we have the blue Zerg player. He is dark. It's dark. In the top right, we have Gumiho. Enough said. Uh-oh. I spy with my little eyes something, the Terran. And it's not in a main base. But it's also not a proxy. It's not the Makarax. No, no. No, I don't like that. I hate it. So does he get a third Rax and another gas, or are we back in the realm of sanity? That got so disgusting at the end. Yeah, that game 2 finish was filthy. Absolutely filthy. I'm really trying not to miss it. That's why I'm staring at his base. I missed it last game. I was so caught off guard. There's the depot, so I'm guessing that we'll get a barracks then. We'll get just the 2 barracks expand. Meanwhile, Dark, he's Zerg. What did you think he was gonna do? If he's not going pool first, it's gonna be hatch, pool, gas, or hatch, gas, pool. He's gonna make a queen. He can't, you know, it's like Protoss. You know, they can't really do anything until the first real building is done. So we just gotta wait. Now he could do something. So Gumiho's got 2 Reapers being made at a time. He's got the first one crossing the map. Typically, you expand while they move out. And then, not only do you try to see what your opponent is doing with the Reaper, but you're also looking for the 3rd base. So you come in, you do a little poke, make sure there's not a Roach Warren or something inside, and then you pull back, kill as many things as you can, maybe get a drone. And if you're completely repelled, you try to deny the 3rd base. You can't really do it with just the 1 Reaper. So you can try to deny the drone from leaving, but a lot of Terrans that are confident with their Reaper micro will try to get kills, try to get real damage done, because obviously dealing damage is part of the way to win, so. Oh, that Reaper! Was that down to 1 health? He's a 1 health hero. He's got bloodshot eyes. But there's no 3rd hatch coming. This is maybe the most important thing for us to take note of. There is a 3rd command center. Oh, Mr. Gumiho. He's a greedy boy, and Dark knows it. He sees that 3rd CC, he sees the factories half done. So you ask yourself, my opponent can't realistically have tanks for X amount of time or a lot of Hellions. So what does Dark do? The 1 game that he lost in this series, game 1, crazy game by the way, he didn't get Ling speed until 8.5 minutes. It was all roaches. He kind of wanted to do a roach attack. He got shut down by the Reaper opening. It wasn't very cash money. Now, he opens with Ling speed, denies all the Reapers. This guy might get away, but 1 Reaper does not a threat make. And meanwhile, I'm having nightmarish flashbacks to another game. Was it Dark versus Gumiho in KSL literally one of the last broadcasts I might have done, actually. This may have happened. He was the same exact spot on the same exact map, and he did the same exact opening, and it did the same exact barely any damage. And then like 5 Ravagers walked across the map and just smite the Tech Lab with Stim. He needs another, what, 80 seconds to do it? Roaches could build in the next, what, 30 seconds, and then 15 seconds for Ravagers. The time to cross the map probably makes it impossible, though. So I don't think he can snipe Stim. If he rushes for it really hard, he could be close. It could be close, but that would also be without repair, so I don't think it's going to happen. This is more, feels more like a defensive Roach count. There is a medevac on the way. There will likely be, could be a Hellion run-by with a Marine drop. Could be a Hellion drop. He's still building Hellions, so it all feels like good options. Could just be Marines and Hellions, since those are obviously great against Lings. She's going to move out 4 Hellions, about 13 Marines. I think attacking into this might be the worst thing he could do, though. Dark's army is very strong, and Stim is not ready yet. And there's also only 1 medevac with this. So I think he dies. Yeah, he's going to pull back. He's got to pull back. Send the Hellions out, sure. Drop them, whatever. But if you want to take your 3rd base, you got to bring some units back. You do not want to send those Marines out against the Ravagers and Lings. He immediately just lifts it because he knows he can't even go defend it. So he loads up 2 weak Hellions and 2 full health Hellions. So the weakest one immediately drops out front. Should die pretty fast, but he decides, you know what, I'm going to load up and save these guys. Thanks, Mr. Gumiho. I actually did not expect you to save those Hellions. But you see, Gumiho, he's, as I've said many times, a player that I'm incredibly biased for, so of course he repairs his Hellions like a god. If 1 SCV gets popped, the 3rd base is denied once again, and Gumiho's like, yeah, I'm worried that there's a lot more than just a few Lings. I don't want to send all these Marines out yet. I don't want to send these Marines out yet. His 1-1 is coming, though. +1 range starts for Dark. Wow, really? So is Dark going straight into Lurkers? He opened with Ling speed. He has a lot of Lings. But there's no Baneling nest. And he's just going up to a lair with +1 missile. Which makes me feel like it has to be like Ling Ravager? I don't... yeah, there's Roach speed. Yeah, Ling Ravager. Or he's not going to go just mass Roach Ravager, because that would be crazy. Does Gumiho want... I don't think there's any hiding information. You saw him research Stim at the front. He sees the Marines. He knows it's bio. He did so well with the Lings, and I made this whole big statement about how he only lost when he skipped the Lings. Now he opens with Ling speed, and he transitions away from them, even though they were working pretty well. Like, I get that there's Hellions and Marines, but he was winning with numbers, not comp, so that it could still work. Anyway, he's going to need to get some biles onto that tank. The Marines pushing that south expansion. Going to be able to get a couple of the Lings, but the Ravagers are still standing. Denied one of the extractors. I'm not questioning Dark by any means. I'm just worried about when we get to that point in the game that we always talk about. Roach Ravager, it's not bad. We see people at the highest level, including right here, use it. The reason why it's not the primary strategy is because you don't have the same ability to engage the Terran when they overextend. Stimmed Bio can get into the medevacs and run away. You can kite, especially off creep. Ling Bane makes it a little bit harder to do that, and that's when, of course, the Mutalisks also have the ability to make that really annoying. So he's going to come in here, 4 Marine drop with the tank. Who drops 1 tank and 4 Marines? Nobody knows. Nobody knows who does that. And the anti-air. You know, having the Spire with the Ling Bane Muta on the bigger map made sense. I mean, this map is also gargantuan. Every map in this pool is gargantuan, but maybe he feels like it's not as much of an issue here if he can get across quickly, because this 3rd is very wide open. We see this a lot versus Protoss as well. These siege tanks, neither of them are actually in range to defend the outside. So, only if he tries to push the natural wall, and I guess he does do that a little bit, so that makes it kind of tricky. But yeah, this tank only reaches, like, if you're on the command center. So I think you just keep dropping the biles and just eat all the SCVs. It's worth losing the whole army because now he's on 3 bases, taking a 4th, and he's just against a 2-base Terran. That's a hard spot to be in. The only thing really keeping him in this game is the fact that he doesn't have high ground vision to try and bile down the other base. Maybe we see a Nidus down the line, but 30 dead SCVs, the wall is getting popped. And he's actually really trying to kill the barracks too. It's like that I mean, it might burn down. He's got to bring the workers over to repair it. Look at this. That's actually you got to move away from me now. You got to move away from me. Oh, did he issue a new command to the SCV? Guess what? Oh, I'm impressed. I thought it was going to burn down. I really did. Made me into a believer today. Thank you, Mr. Gumiho. I appreciate it. Mr. Gumiho is just a Twitch chat meme. I love Mr. Gumiho. It's great though. So is he gonna just spread here and try to eat this? This is the hard part, is the Roach Ravager. You can get a lot of supply of it, but if there's a lot of upgraded Marines, they can usually do very well, but Dark is gonna try and close it out and get that 2-1 lead. You notice, though, he's being so patient. He's like, well, the 3rd base isn't really mining. There's just 4 mules. But then you realize that's actually like a fully saturated mineral line. And you're like, holy crap, Terran is Zimba. There's the Liberators. So the lack of anti-air becomes even more of an issue now. I guess as hard, as good or bad as anything in this game has been or not been, the tech starts to offset any strength of this composition eventually. Because it's just Ravagers and Lings. If he biles the Marines, then he can't bile the Liberators. And if he biles the Liberators, he can't bile the Marines. And if at any point he doesn't bile the Marines just chase him down like that. So that's what we're talking about. Zoning, playing for position. Gumiho has the tanks now. He has the Liberators. I think you just need to leave those there. I would try to put the Liberation zones on the choke points. But I understand it's a stressful game. There's a lot of things happening. He's got this drop on the right side. It's going to deny the gold base from Dark. Nice little delay there. He's also got a double drop stimming in now in the northwest, but there's actually nothing here. Surprise! It's nothing. There's just literally nothing there. So he's like, all right, I'm going to load up and go home because my Liberators are under attack. And this makes it really difficult because you don't want the Liberators to clump up, but you also recognize that if you siege them and the Ravagers have their cooldowns, then they can just kind of bile them down. So 3rd base for Gumiho getting blown up. He had to drop in the bottom base. Now he's coming back up towards the central expansion. Nathan's doing his scary zoom in, zoom out thing he likes to do. So I don't think the Marines clear all of this out because it's 2-2 versus 2-2. 3rd command center is dead and Dark. He's going to go up 2-1. Let's see. Is Gumiho going to be able to turn it around? That becomes the #1 question. Can he get it done? Are we going to go to game 5? Or is Dark going to, like an infestor to the corpse of a Marine, consume him? I know, you're thinking, Nate, that's kind of gross. That's literally how it works. Infested Terrans in StarCraft 2, they're like, yeah, the infestors, they're like mobile infection units. Like they walk around and clean up the carcasses and reanimate them. It's a lot more messed up. It's a lot more messed up than it seems in game. Infestors are straight up like the worst. There's just, this isn't a balance complaint, okay? I'm telling you that the idea of having to go through that process is just horrible. I would be like, yo, Hellion guy, if I die, can you please cook me so they don't turn me into a blob monster? Honestly, who wants to become a blob monster? Aside from the bad guys in all the Resident Evil games. Even then, I'm not sure that that's what they wanted. No, it's definitely what they wanted. So Gumiho in the bottom right, down 1-2 against Dark, who, against all odds, managed to not only, in the course of 2 games, make me believe that he's much better with Lings than he is Roaches, but then he showed me that he's actually pretty good with Roaches too, and that he's not going to be deterred by a momentary lapse or a little mini failure anyway. Plaguebird in chat says he wants to be a machine monster, like the Singularity from Dead by Daylight, I'm guessing, something like that. If I had to be a Dead by Daylight monster, I'd probably just Probably just pick Nick Cage, though. Apparently Nick Cage is part of that game now. Why not? So Gumiho is finally doing a normal-ish build. We're not getting the barracks at the front of the natural. Grezvon is a hard map to wall off because of how big it is. So on one hand, I can understand why you wouldn't want to wall off here because it wouldn't be enough with just a bunker or two barracks and 2 depots. I don't think is enough. You need at least 1 more building with that. So it can get a little complicated. So might as well just play it out. Grezvon is a pretty good map. So it's one of the easier ones to hold on to that 3rd base. So that's what we want to see. That's what we're hoping for anyway. Mr. Gumiho now coming through. And he is going to... Oh! Barely slip away. And he sees... He not only gets away, but he's able to see that hatch. And that is fantastic. That is actually fantastic. So now he's got the vision. The Reaper's still on the edge. Did he deny the creep tumor? No. No, it was an inject first. Okay, okay. So he could deny it. You can't tell me he didn't walk up to the Blob Monster Prophet Man and say, make me a Blob Monster stat. This is exactly what I asked for. Yeah, but like every character, when they do the thing that turns them into a Blob Monster in Resident Evil, the moments leading up to it, they all have like completely made peace. You know, that's what gets me about that game series. Nobody questions anything. Nobody questions anything at all. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a huge fan of it. You know, you're literally just a part of like an elite SWAT team type investigating missing persons. You show up in a mansion and there's zombies and shit, and you're like, yeah, whatever, okay, I guess this is what we're dealing with, you know? It's, everybody's just extremely casual about the whole thing. And that does not change. I think that was probably the biggest thing about when they put... There are some characters that exist outside that bubble, but maybe that's a rant for another day. Maybe not for the game point match of the grand finals, Nathan. Okay. You have to promise let me talk about Resident Evil later, though. Okay, that's fair. We'll do that. So it's Banshees, Hellions, all the good things in life. He's going to build a tech lab on the racks, so it's probably going to be bio. Gumiho really doesn't like people trying to take advantage of him being the mech player or his reputation. So he's just not doing it at all anymore. He's just saving it. He just saves it for the most intense moments. But Reapers, Hellions, Banshees, they're fast, they're hit and run, they can get a lot done, and that's nice to see, really. That's just the truth, the objective truth. It's just nice to see. So it's going to be a Baneling nest this time. This to me was the biggest question after the last couple of games of Guts. We've seen Dark open with the Lings. We've seen him open with the Roaches. Your Grezvon is a big map, but it's not quite... It doesn't feel quite as open, maybe, is the word I'm looking for, as like Ancient Cistern. But you do have a lot of large open spaces. A couple of point of no returns as well. You know, you got little hallways down the side. Some ramps, but none of them are particularly small. I like the Raven Hellion opener just for clearing creep, because you can be aggressive, you can poke, you can be annoying. I like adding Ravens to it over time, too, sometimes. Did he just kill the... Okay. Gumiho's pissed, apparently. He's taking it out on the environment over here. Wow. Should Gumiho be my favorite player? Man, you know, Dark, he's kind of hot, right? He's up 2-1, I mean, hey. Oh, look at that, his Lings are patrolling. Isn't that beautiful? You'll love to see it. So +1 melee. I feel like this is like the informer when it comes to the questions that we've had in this series. Will it be roaches? Will it be lings? Well, he's actually getting melee upgrades again and baneling speed. Two things that have, frankly speaking, been absent a lot in this series. So he did this on Ancient Cistern, and it went very well. But it was actually like Ling Bane Muta. So this game, he's actually going for Ling Bane Hydra. And then eventually we expect that to turn into lurkers if the game goes long enough. So Banshee comes over, tries to be annoying at the building base on the bottom side, but doesn't get quite as much as maybe Gumiho was looking for. He does have a pretty big attack getting ready to come in, but this is such an anti-timing. Dark has not only finished Baneling speed, has Banelings, but his +1 melee is about to finish, and he's got Hydras coming out. So I say anti-timing because Bane speed defending means there will be some creep. So even though there's Hellbats, even though there's a bunch of Marines that are chilling here, like, he can't necessarily just push into it. But I like that Gumiho has taken a step back, because I think he needs to recognize that this is awkward. Is he going to see these slings? Oh, Medevac kind of goes by. There is a tank. He's got a wall off on the whole thing. I love to see that. Good intuition on the run by. And he's going to now poke forward. He's got Medevacs to back these Marines up, but you know, if the comment about anti-timing frustrated you earlier, this one will really get you, because now the +1 is done. Now the Hydralisk range upgrade is ready. And of course, there is a non-zero number of Hydralisks here. So I think Gumiho's army gets jumped on. But maybe Dark doesn't know? No, he knows it's still there. He knows it's still there. He's going for it. So the Hellbats are a little bit annoying, but Bane's coming in from the north, coming in from the south, and he's going to clean it up. 2 medevacs worth will be able to escape, so that's nice. I don't think it answers all of the questions. I don't think that it solves all of the problems, but it very well could. He does have that Raven in the back. He's got 7 kills. The griefer Raven. It's beautiful. Just endlessly harassing with free units. Ah. Can you believe we live in time? You live in a time where it's the Terrans with the free units now? It's amazing. It's 1998 all over again. I love being 5. So we've got the Hydras that we've talked about maybe 20 times. I'm a little surprised. The Hive is on the way, but he still hasn't started the Lurker Den yet. So I'm kind of interested to see that. I'd like to see those Lurkers come out. I mean, you don't get the upgrades until Hive, but I'm pretty sure it seemed like that's where he wanted to go. But I think he's worried that Gumiho will launch a big attack while he's trying to transition there. Because the Hydras are his only anti-air to deal with the medevacs. So that's probably something that we should continue to mention and be mindful of, because it's not. Yeah, it's not an easy spot to be in. He could try to go into the Lurkers, but instead he's going to go Pathogen Glands. So maybe he's got an entirely different plan cooking up for us. The Ling's on patrol for the Raven. Now that is dedication. There's already a bunch of units up here waiting for you. These guys tried to clear some creep, get pushed back up. Oh, 10 health. 10 health medevac, full of Marines. Hydralisks too. He's pushing these guys all the way. That tank does not actually have great coverage. But Dark doesn't want to push it. He's going to step back. He's going to take a second, collect himself. Oh, is that the Raven again? One more time, baby. 12 kills on that bad boy. Dropped 1 turret. And it's just so annoying, right? You're getting that ping. It's like, oh, your drone's under attack. But then you're also like, I don't know about that. It's only there for 2 seconds. And then 20 drones die. And you're like, well, 2 seconds is a long amount of time in StarCraft. That is true. The Raven, however, is dead. Katie would not approve of Gumiho's cruel and unprovoked abuse of the local wildlife. No. No, Katie can never see this game. We can never let her know that Gumiho killed an unsuspecting wild animal out on the map. For no reason. She's too, you know, we gotta protect the innocents, people who still love Gumiho. We can't let them find out You guys remember when like they basically went full mafioso at the end of the Dark Knight so that nobody would know that Harvey Dent killed people? And they said that they had a good reason to do it, but at the same time, he just totally gets away with everything, basically, for the sake of the system. I'm just, you know, it's tough. The things that we sometimes have to be okay with are not easy. Kind of like dealing with 100 Zerglings and Banelings outside your base. That is also not an easy thing to deal with. But that's how Dark plays. If I had one request, since he's got 90 drones, and since this series has been crazy, and this could be the final game, I do have a request. I would like to see... The Lurker Den just started, by the way. I would like to see him try the Nidus one more time. I'd like to see him try to get a Changeling in and Nidus him, but I don't know that that's going to happen. He completely wipes the floor with that army. This production tab is huge. Humongous. Humongous among us. He's going into Ghosts. Are we going to have ourselves a 30-minute game? You know, I delayed the live ads twice during this because I do not know how long the game is, but I've tried to buy us a little bit of time, and now it's going to force us into it, so... I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay because it is a... I don't think this game is ending anytime soon based on what I'm seeing. A lot of very late game investments coming in. Dragging some of those drops along the bottom side expansion is Gumiho, freeing up some supply perhaps for the Ghosts. Vipers are going to make their way over. Parasitic Bomb on the medevac so that it cannot easily run away. I mean, all it can do is run away, but it might just die. There you go. And what is Mr. Gumiho doing? He's building Ghosts, Blue Flame, high-sec auto-tracking, building armor. He's taking out a reverse mortgage on his summer property. What else is there to do? What else is there to do? He's absolutely rich. He's sitting on a pile of cash, and so is Dark. I'd like to see Dark go for the Nidus, but one of the things I noticed in these late games, Gumiho is so good at, and he does it every single game that I've seen in this particular series. And that's the sensor towers giving the full edge. You can see the sensor tower is actually going like beyond the parameters of the map, the like dotted line, so it's very hard to get anything by without the Terran being aware, to some degree anyway, of what you're doing. And meanwhile, he's like, I'm going to take your base. I'm going to take your base, Gumiho. You want to expand to the north side? I'm going to pressure and get ready for this. Look at the spread, though. This is so much. So he's trying to clear out the creep. EMP's going to land. Gets the snipe on one of the Vipers. This is going to trigger him. Dark does not want to go in just yet, so that's going to give a little bit of time for Gumiho to clear out the creep. He's spreading the bio. One of the tanks tried to reposition, so misses out on some of the fire there. Medevac is going to try to pick up the Ghosts specifically to relocate them. Not let them get dived, but now the Lurkers are pushing on the bottom side. The Lurkers are getting onto the bottom side of this base. They are ripping and tearing into this and making it progressively more and more difficult. Oh, there's the snipes. Gets one. The other three just barely get away in time. Oh, that medevac. Goodbye. Blowing up like fireworks. So he scans, he sees Dark has not only taken the base outside of his third, so they're now screens length away from each other, but he's got a lot of Zerglings here. The tanks, friendly fire on the links, blows up the tower. Again, it's really just about the Ghosts now. The tanks, everything else, it's very hard for them to move forward. Impossible to attack, says Dyer in the chat. You know what, Dyer, I agree. Both players are kind of stuck. That's why... Nathan, don't say it.
You should make 20 nice ones and go on ones.
What? What was that?
You should make 20 nice ones and go on ones.
I didn't hear you. I'm not going to repeat myself. If you heard, you heard. But I personally would love to see him make 20 Nidus Worms and go in at once. Might be a little outside of his budget, though. Command Center is going to get popped. Ghosts are going to cloak to deal with this run by, and they actually do clear it. There's a nuke being called down somewhere. Although I think it got canceled, right? Did I miss it? I don't think he actually called down a nuke. No, I don't think he did. It would have probably said a lot of drones died if it landed, right? Or maybe it was a fake nuke. That's like the whole thing, is you just call one down in the corner of the map. Because if your opponent can't see, if your opponent cannot see at all, where the nuke is, then they might believe that they just can't see it because they have bad eyesight. And that could be a big thing too. So Ghost retreating back up the ramp. We've got siege tank fire on the third base that he's kiting into once again. Oh. It's going to get some snipes off from the high ground. Now, Dark hasn't done much with this base, but he is taking some of the gas. So if this turns into a mine-out situation between these two, then it is a really big deal. We've got Infestors and Broodlords on the north side. Does he have vision of the Ghost? He does land the fungal, so the nuke is going to get stopped. One Broodlord gets sniped, two Broodlords get sniped. And it's just a multi-pronged fight. He's defending on the south, he's defending on the northern, both fronts. Both fronts have just been absolutely huge. He's going to try and save them. The medevac, only 4 ghosts get saved, though. And he's bringing the rest of the ghosts up. Maybe do a zoning nuke. Like, put the nuke right here. Somewhere that would just be so unfun to try and play around. Or just attack into him and kill him anyway. That might be the move. That might be the move right here. He is coming up into that third for the umpteenth time. He could snipe. I mean, I would snipe it all. Take whatever he'll give you. Let those steady targeting spray all over the Overseers. Do we still have nukes? Yes, we have 1. Okay, and 1 here. So I like this. He's dropping it onto where the creep is. He's putting himself in a position where he can deal with whatever's coming. And he's transitioning into Mass Thor, which I also love, because I love Thors. That actually does clear out all the creep tumors on the edge of this platform, which should open up a lot of space. There's still an extractor that can see some things. We have the Broodlords and the Infestors on the top side. Ghosts and Marines are trying to catch some of the reinforcements in the middle, but it's just a bunch of Banelings. You don't want to engage that head-to-head. Some of the Ghosts need to come up and get an EMP, but he gets a full fungal on about 5, 6 of them. That is so brutal. These Ghosts are getting ripped to pieces. Medevac does save 4 of them at less than 50 HP. Not bad at all. I recently replayed the entire StarCraft 1 campaign, and I forgot that Ghosts only have 45 health in that game. Why are they so busted in this one? Does anybody know? Yeah, comment below. There are a lot of Broodlords here. We got about 9. Just trying to trim the fat a little bit, but then that's what happens. The Banes come through, load the Ghosts into the medevacs. Planetary gets destroyed. And the Queens immediately come up to spread the creep behind us. This is what makes it go from bad to worse. He just doesn't have a good answer for this. He's trying to get the snipes. And he's just barely pulling out of that max range. Oh, this is a beautiful nuke. Please. Let someone's army get caught in this. I don't want it to be Gumiho's, but I'll take it. I'll take it. You guys know how much I love editing those shorts. If you give me a nuke, I will use it. Can't really use this one, though. More scans coming in. Gumiho, acutely aware. Look at all these orbitals. These are all full energy. They are all full 200 energy orbitals. Do you know how many mules he could call down? I'd kind of like him to lift his bank back up to the, you know, at least the 2,000 or 3,000 amount. That'd be nice. We have a barracks kind of just floating on creep, so the rest of these Zerg forces are going to make their way to the northeast. There's just a couple of Thors left behind. Weirdly enough, the Banelings exploding on them would be pretty good, but he seems to have clicked them exactly where he wants them to be, so he's not just gonna willy-nilly let the Thor blow him up. So this has just been great control out of Dark. He's played a fantastic game. He's got so much money. At the same time, Gumiho still has a tremendous amount. He's got 11 Ghosts. He's going up to 5 Thors. It could have been 7 or 8 before. I mean, at that point, if you have this much energy, you should be thinking about using mules as force fields. You should be thinking about offensively mining out your opponent's base. Like, you scan a base and see a completely unprotected mineral line, drop 10 mules on it. Mine out his patch. If he kills all the mules, you know what you lose? Nothing. You know what they lose? 250 minerals. Mules are good units. Now we've got Neural Parasite in play for the Thors. Vipers to help with the Thors. And once again, going back to the field of Spinecrawler Dreams. Now Dark has moved into the Lurkers, so we're seeing them come back into it. Gumiho. I didn't realize Gumiho has a bunker in his main. He is not getting Nidist. He's absolutely refusing to get Nidist. Maybe if he did fly 10 Overseers in, it would not be enough against this setup, actually. I don't know. Could get over that side. That would be the ideal. Lurkers are going to push the north side again. It's just the Thors. The Thors rallied out over here. Everything else is kind of chilling behind. Like, Gumiho has money. He's not really making units. And he's not maxed out. The reason why a Terran player does this, or accepts this position, or this lot in life, is usually because they are genuinely concerned about running out of money. He's aware that he might need some of this, he might need some of that, but as his army currently stands, he doesn't want to just dump all of his resources anymore. Got a nuke coming down, that's going to hit. Some creep tumors. The Spines continue to encroach forward. Yeah, Dark's got 8,000 gas. He is absolutely in no risk at all, economically speaking. He's got 20 larvae. I don't know. Maybe build like 10 extra hatches just so there's more larvae. I don't know. Is it even that important anymore? The Lurkers pull up on the Thors on the north side and rip Gumiho a new one once again. He's building 5 Thors at a time. And I understand that Broodlords are very difficult to play around, but he's losing his ability. His army just gets slower. His army gets slower and slower. Thors are not battlecruisers. They cannot fly over stuff. And realistically, you wouldn't want to build battlecruisers in this situation because it's so hard to get a lot of them. You want the Thors to fight the Broodlords head-to-head. That's like the dream. But he doesn't have the supporting units behind them either. It just feels like Gumiho's being like carved out from the inside, you know? Like one of those nightmarish scarab guys from The Mummy. You guys have all seen that movie. Hit #1 Hollywood actor. Brendan Fraser, literal god, etc. So Gumiho's going to make his last assault. The transition into mech is complete. And this army's not bad at all. It's just, he is going to have to wade through so much blood that describing the amount necessary probably get this video blocked, so I won't. But he's dead. That's really what it boils down to. I just don't think the army matches up that well against with just the Thors. But I guess the Broodlords are all on the bottom side. So Gumiho is doing the mech thing, but not the mech thing. He's doing like the thing you do against the mech thing, where you say that your army, his army is split because he's trying to cover everything, and this army is split. So he's like, well, now I'm just going to force as hard as I can in the softest spot that I can find. But he has to bring these really slow units all the way back. These orbitals are all getting lifted up. He burrows the lings, and he's just being super annoying. So, like, I like Dark's position, because Gumiho is running out of money, and he hasn't actually used his ability to just mine out the forward bases. Like, if he lands this base, it should be Mulehammer. 100% Giga Mulehammer. Okay. Well, finally. So, now he doesn't have any scans. But Gumiho's very much still in this game. This army is terrifying, and it can beat pretty much anything, depending on how he uses it. My only concern, again, is that Dark has Oprah Winfrey money. I mean, he is just so rich. He's so rich, he's giving away cars so that he can write them off as, like, taxable gifts or something like that. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know how rich people never pay tax, but he's doing it. Okay? I promise you, you, me, your kids, my kids, we're never going to see a dime out of all this money Dark's pulled in this game. Meanwhile, the Lings come back over towards the east side. He sees the starports that are being added. And to me, kind of seems like, oh yeah, battlecruisers. Well, corruptors are coming now. So he's recognizing that the air is going to be important again. I just don't see how Gumiho ever leaves his base. I don't think he ever moves across the map. I think that if he wanted to do a endgame battlecruiser transition, he probably needed to start those starports like 5 minutes ago. But it seems like he's realizing that he'll just never be able to leave his base, ever. Because there's infestors, lurkers, lings, broodlords, vipers, spine crawlers, spore crawlers, queens, hydras, banes. And I heard that Yeah, the actual Bane himself, the mask guy, he's on Dark's team, which I didn't realize, but now we all know that, so that's important. Goodbye, Mr. Hellbat. So what do we do now? He's going back into Ghosts. He's getting Liberator range so that he can deny mining at his own expansion. But the thing is, Vipers are pretty good at dealing with those too, so... Gumiho is going to work through the empty bases. I guess there's some minerals here. There's a lot of minerals that were left behind here. But how does he get them off the production once he's in? The Liberators are here. There are still a couple of the Ghosts. Those finishing up might help. But the number one difference between Terran and all the other guys, when in this specific situation, you don't have Warp Gate, you don't have Larva. Your production is your stronghold. You cannot relocate all of this and restart playing the game. It's not going to work. And Gumiho doesn't even have gas anymore. It's all minerals. What I'm trying to say is I think we're going to see... Okay, Gumiho's got to be dead. You're going to spend your last 300 gas on a battlecruiser? He doesn't have any other gas. They're all mined out. Except for this one, which he decided he didn't want for some reason. And this one, which is his only gas. I would go back. I would take these geysers. You're going to need those. He's... Oh, man. The single battlecruiser transition, this... I don't even think Nathanias could write this one. He's going to make 7 Hellions because he doesn't have gas. Mind you, in order to overcome the number of Corruptors that are already on the field, well, they all turned into Broodlords. He actually doesn't have... His only anti-air are 5 Queens, 9 Infestors, which are pretty good. The Vipers, they don't really hurt the BCs too much. And 20 Spore Crawlers. Meanwhile, there's 136 creep tumors on the map. So technically there is nothing that can fight the battlecruiser. Which means that in a hypothetical scenario where I imagine Gumiho winning this game, he takes all of his geysers and saturates them, which has not happened. And he maxes out and slowly trades his supply into BCs until he has so many that Dark just accidentally loses the game because he teleports all the BCs onto the Spires, kills them both instantly, kills the Hive instantly, and then there's no way he can rebuild the Spire, and then the battlecruisers win. And even then, I still don't actually think that he can make enough that he would go through and kill everything fast enough to stop Dark from just building hatcheries everywhere and rebuilding eventually. And that is an Artosis amount. 53. We're over 50, which means I can legally say it. I can legally say it without Artosis suing me this time. That is so many Banelings. So many Banelings. Beautiful. You love to see it. Or you hate to see it. It's your call. There's 53 Banes, 17 Broodlords against 9 Thors, 11 tanks, 9 Ghosts, 3 Liberators, and a battlecruiser. He is building another battlecruiser now, so we started battlecruiser number 2. Who will win? I mean, this just feels like I'm watching Gumiho slowly bleed out. But usually when a Terran wins in this situation, it does feel miraculous because there's really no way he should. You would think that Ghosts counter everything, but the problem with Ghosts is that the more of them you have, the less other stuff, and Ghosts can't fight if they take any damage, you know? They're like prima donnas. They either have to be completely untouched, or they won't do anything. They won't show up, they won't do the job. Everything has to be perfect for Ghosts. They're very sensitive. Now he comes back on the production over here. And, okay, he's got a 3-3 battlecruiser. There is a tank of the Banes. It's actually kind of sick. Like, he did defend this with A, B, C, and some Ghosts. Problem is, well, he can replace some of it. He did take these geysers. He's got these ones. He's going for this base. He's long-distance mining this. This is beautiful. We are 30 minutes in to 2 of the best Korean players in a grand final of an online tournament, and we've got 10 SCVs long distance mining a geyser. You can't really ask for more than that. And now there's 13 corruptors being made, so there is no scenario where battlecruisers trade evenly against corruptors unless you have significantly more BCs than there are corruptors, which is a very hard thing to do, by the way. Like, hypothetically, if there were 50 corruptors and he had 25 battlecruisers, he could Yamato half of them, and then I think he could win the fight, but that's not the fight we're going to see. He's not going to build 25 battlecruisers. The fact that he's made it to 5 at all, after the way that this game has played out so far, is astounding to me. Absolutely astounding to me. I did not expect this series to go quite this distance either. Katie's home from work. It's our 4-year anniversary today, and I am waiting for Gumiho to run out of gas. But I also love Gumiho, so I absolutely want to see this through to the bitter end because he is my homie. And well, now not only does Gumiho kill innocent map critters, but he also plays long games of StarCraft and ruins my anniversary. So, just kidding. I love you, Gumiho. StarCraft will be a part of all parts of my life. I hope somebody's commentating a show match for this game at my funeral. That would be fun, honestly. And now we watch Corruptors fight BCs. Oh, he's not worried. Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go? In the arms of the angel. BCs. Goodbye. We love you. You had a good run. Had a good run. Now the rest of the army's trying to make its way across. It's still a big army, but here's the thing. Now you're out on the field. Neural Parasite's gonna mind control 2 Thors. And the rest of the Thors now. There you go. That's just tough. That's just absolutely brutal. His men penetrated by tentacles, forced to fire upon his own forces. Disgusting. And Dark takes the KSL 23-1 over Gumiho. A literal god tasteless. And wow, how about that? An hour and a half best of 5. Yeesh.